All right, I hope everyone is having a nice weekend. I'm doing a quick video, maybe it'll be a little bit longer, but a lot of important things to kind of go through today. I am just coming back from a trip, so a little bit later than I usually get the weekly video out. And again, since I'm in kind of catch-up mode from my trip this weekend, it's going to be a combined video, really just focusing on Bitcoin and the miners a little bit, and essentially Bitcoin's our proxy for risk assets, right? I don't see a lot of major decoupling going on, right? If my thesis on kind of what's going on within the Bitcoin market translates to the rest of the cryptocurrency market as well as the traditional financial markets. So if I expect a little bit of a correction in Bitcoin, I would expect that corresponding correction with traditional financial markets. If I expect a risk-on period, I expect that for kind of everything. So just keep that in mind. And I'm not a financial advisor, as a reminder. Don't take this as financial advice. Do your own research. This is purely educational purposes. All right, with that, let me jump in. So this is the daily count on Bitcoin. As we've been tracking it pretty much all year. Macro count is still massively bullish, right, folks? Let's keep everything in context of this beautiful structure that we've been in for the better part of 4 years. In terms of our 1, 2, 3, 4, kind of 5 wave move. And now we are simply consolidating above what I'm claiming is this impulsive move from back in early 2021. So we just simply continue to consolidate above it. And so the question ultimately is what's my short-term expectation? Last week, I believe I did a video and I kind of speculated on a few scenarios. My least likely scenario was what kind of played out here. Just to be honest, I had a count that I posted on X, an interpretation of how I viewed this triangle is an A, B, C, D, E, and then let's go. That was wrong. That was invalidated with the break of this low here. However, I did talk about if that didn't come to fruition, I really would expect both of these lows to be run prior to the next move up. Either way, we are closer to the end, in my opinion, of this consolidation, correction, whatever we want to call it, than we are to the beginning of something new. And so I still expect a major move up. That's the next macro move here, much like when everyone was doom posting back here, right, folks? Remember this area? And your boy Kush was just bullish. I mean, I don't care. I didn't project we were going down to 38. I don't care about short-term down movements. Most of my positions are in spot, and so I'm not trying to get cute and sell to hope to buy back at lower with the opportunity cost of missing that. Okay, I'm not that good. 99% of traders are going to end up with less Bitcoin than they are when they started at the end. And so that's why you don't see a lot of that from me. Okay. And so that continues to be the case here. This is a simple consolidation structure. And a couple things to note, right? Are we going to get a V, right? Or are we going to get some type of, one last flush before some continuation? I don't know, but there's evidence to support both sides of this coin here. Now that we're here, and now that I'm looking for some opportunities, as I posted earlier, to create a call position, and I don't do that very often. You don't see me posting about that stuff a lot. I did it in April. Where were we? Or not April? Excuse me, October. Why did I do that in October? I initiated my largest minor call position here in Mara. Okay. I posted my second highest call position in micro strategy in this area here, okay? And so at key inflection points, let me put it this way. I'm about as bullish as they get, and you know that. When it takes even longer than I'm expecting it to take, and when I'm expecting a reversal and it takes even longer, yet sentiment is comparable to where things were when we were at 25K or when we were at 38K, yet price is much higher. That's where I look to start initiating these positions. And that's where I believe we are right here, okay? And that's why I'm looking to initiate another position scaling in this week. And so what am I looking at specifically at these structures, potential signs of reversal? Well, first thing is, let's just pop up a 4-hour, keep this really, really simple. Keep this really, really simple. And throw up the simple moving average, the 9 simple moving on the 4-hour, and that just kind of tells us where we are right now. That tells us where we are right now. I'm not going to try to apply any counts. I'm not, because I got the last count wrong. My interpretation was wrong. Therefore, I'm going to abandon the lower time frame count and let the higher time frame dictate what happens, and then look at it afterwards and apply a count. I'm not trying to redraw lines, and I'm trying to just go back to the basics here. And right now, the basics are telling me that we're still in a downtrend. Okay, right? Downtrend, and what the market's fighting with on the low time frame is the 9 SMA, right? Rejection, 4-hour, boom, dump. Trying to get back above this 9 SMA on the 4-hour. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attempts. Kind of making another attempt right here. It's weak. That's what this looks like, right? Weak movement, and so I am not ruling out another little flush down to the bottom of this channel prior to get a reclaim of that moving average, break this downtrend, and reverse. And the reversal, I think, is going to be quick, right? When I posted yesterday, the count was invalid, but I still think we're making a move to 100K plus fast. That still applies. It's just a matter of where that gets initiated and on what time frame. And that's why I'm doing this video, to kind of help manage my own expectations as well as yours. Okay. So that's the 4-hour. So right now, nothing constructive on the 4-hour in the most simplistic terms. Let's look at the daily, because I posted this one. Those that have been following me for a little while, back in the ETF sell the news correction. Remember that? It was a sell the news event. I noted the importance of the Ichimoku cloud on a daily time frame during impulsive movements with Bitcoin. And there's a couple scenarios that are pretty reliable when it comes to the cloud in this current larger scale impulse, as well as its subwave moves within each of these smaller impulses. But what am I talking about, right? I'm talking about this structural area here, okay? I'm talking about, and I'm going to come back to it, I'm circling it. I'm talking about this structural area here. And what's the structural area? What's happened? We broke into the cloud, and we are still in the cloud. You see a little bit of a rejection on the daily today. We broke into the cloud back on January 18th. We got a rejection on the daily. And then we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more days of downside prior to reversal. Let's keep it moving. Get rid of that. Let's keep it moving. This cloud to me is very, very indicative of length of trend change before reversal. That's what I'm talking about here. Length of the current trend and when potentially it's going to change. And then I'll go back to the 2 examples to clarify what I'm talking about. we had a break into the cloud here, okay? This was in July. And we also had a break into the cloud back in May. And then we also had a break in the cloud back in March, okay? Break into the cloud March. Now, let's examine each of these situations and what they tell us. So for going back to March 2023, we broke into the cloud and we couldn't get right out of it. Okay, we had a rejection, much like we're seeing here. Then we had 1, 2, 3, 4 days, 5 days, fell out of the bottom of the cloud. We reclaimed the cloud within a day in this example. That's the key, folks. That's the bear trap. That's what I call the Ichimoku cloud bear trap. And reclaim the cloud and then violent reversal. Okay, that's that example. What's the next example? Back in May 2023, we breached the cloud and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like a few weeks of just sideways, and we fell out of the bottom of the cloud and we didn't get a reclaim quickly. And by quickly, I mean within a few days. And so we still had another few weeks into June prior to any type of reversal, okay? So here it was within a week reversal, the key being reclaiming that cloud and going. Here was May through June, so a good month. And then when was our next occurrence? Back in August or July of 2023, we got some sideways movement into the cloud, no decisive action off of it, back in, fell out of the bottom, no reclaim back in it quickly. So that was what, August 17th, all the way through, basically sideways capitulation to September 11th. That's when we started making a reversal, got back in the cloud, and started moving. And so let's kind of go back to this last one. This was my favorite one because I also noted in a couple other examples where a reclaim of this cloud quickly, if it happens to go to the bottom end of it and falls out, is a really, really bullish sign. It's a classic bear trap, and that's what happened here. We had a fallout, couldn't manage a close after January 18th, out of it the next day, and so 1, 2, 3 days, 4-day capitulation into the high 38s. Then we reclaimed it the next day, stayed in it, and what did the market do? It made a heck of a move in the opposite direction. Okay, so that brings us to what I'm talking about here today, and I'm talking about this very important structural area we're at, and that is we breached the cloud. And there aren't a lot of coincidences, right? That 9 simple moving on the 4-hour kind of corresponds here on the daily with this cloud level, and unable to. The day is still young. We've got 4 hours, but if it's not able to reclaim and get out of this, then we have to be open for, and that's why I'm ready for this week to be an inflection point week, and me initiating the third largest call position I've ever initiated in the Bitcoin proxies, because I feel like this is an incredible opportunity for calls to work. For calls to work, you have to be at. It can't be when everyone's bullish. It can't be even on breakouts. The premiums on breakouts just skyrocket. There are only a few spots that I think the probabilities increase for them to work. But you also have to be ready to lose all your money, and I always use a smaller percentage, so that disclaimer there. And but anyway, so here I have to be fully prepared for this to visit the bottom end of this cloud, which is 57.9. Okay, 57.9. And in this situation, what I'd want, if this were to happen, There's no guarantee. There's no guarantee this is going to happen just because it happened a few times before. I'd like to see a quick reclaim within a couple days, and then that would be my indication for that V recovery to 100K plus quickly. I'm talking a 2-3 week move. If and when this next impulse starts, I expect it to be a 2-3 week impulse at most a month, at most a month. Okay. And so that's what I'm looking at, folks. Let's look at it another way. Let me get rid of this. And I am now going on a little bit longer already, but this is important stuff. This is important stuff. You get bullish koosh a lot, but now, and I'm not a trader. I'm not trying to hop in and out of positions. Most of my Bitcoin was accumulated sub 25, MicroStrategy sub 200, single digits on the miners. And so I don't really care, I don't really care about, I'm not trying to buy and sell out of these things because that I'm going to lose every time. Most people are going to lose in that, trying to do that. But when it comes to when I do want to put some leverage on, I want to do it smart. Okay. I know everyone says, don't use leverage. Don't use leverage. Well, if you use it with a very small percentage of a portfolio at very minimal times, at key inflection points in the market, that's a smart use of it. Okay. That's a smart use of it. And that's why I'm kind of doing this video. And so what's the other indicator that's kind of really important for trend? It's this EMA ribbon I've got up here. Okay. This EMA ribbon, you'll notice when it gets violated to the downside, and that's where we are right now. We're currently on the underside of this ribbon, just like we were in this area here. Okay. Just like we were in this area here, or this area here, or this area here, gives us one of two scenarios. Gives us one of two scenarios, folks. And what are those scenarios? It's either a V-shaped recovery. This is a V-shaped recovery. Okay, that's a V-shaped recovery. That's only 1, 2, 3, 4 days, and then the market reverses. This is, this is a little bit longer. August to September. That's a month of sideways. This is a month of sideways dribbling down, and this is a few days. So this is a V. This is sideways. This is sideways. But notice, again, notice what you don't get, what we haven't been getting in this impulse. And that's, all these low targets people are calling for, right? We're not getting those. And these are like, these are bearish alignments on key indicators on notable time frames. That goes back to the strength of, this, folks. Let me get rid of these. Let me get rid of these. Let me get rid of these. And that goes back to the strength of what you've all heard me talk about since, and I'm going to throw the weekly chart back up, since the summer when I started doing these videos, is the larger structure. The larger structure here, this accumulation structure, that this trumps everything, folks. This is what I care about, okay? That's an accumulation structure. This is a reaccumulation structure. That's a spring. That's a spring. And this is an expansive market phase. This is an expansive market phase. That's why we haven't been seeing major dips. This is a sign of strength consolidation. This is a sign of strength consolidation. And so this is one of the reasons I believe that explain, even when we get time-based capitulation, we haven't been getting price-based true capitulation in this move. And so what was I getting at? Oh yeah. So the difference between a V-shaped recovery and maybe a few more weeks, are kind of denoted with what happens with this cloud on the daily time frame, as well as, or at least the way I'm looking at it, that EMA ribbon that's been reliable with this trend so far. And so has the cloud has been a very reliable tell within this trend so far of what we're going to get, which is either a V or a little bit more of a consolidated correction prior to resumption. And so now let's talk about what resumption looks like if and when we get it. And if we get more of a prolonged, so if this thing drags out, falls out of here, and starts dragging out a little bit before it moves, I may be leaning towards my primary count here being off. What do I mean by that? So I may be leaning towards, if it's not a quick V, I may be leaning towards the fact that we've got sub 3, 4, 5, okay? And right, you see where I'm going here, folks? And the only thing missing is this 5 of 5, this blow off, okay? And so if that's the scenario, then we could get, it could be an up only situation for not as long as people think, not as long as people think. I really believe just a few months, versus, one more move into 5 here, and then, a true 3-4, minor 3-4, that could, and that was the big correction I was expecting is, let me go back, this correction. So I was expecting, and am expecting, if this minor 3 here, sub 5 is still yet to come, for that to terminate somewhere between 140 and 165, and then the first kind of violent correction down to 85 would be even, would be game. Just a violent one that make people think it's over, and then one last blow off. So I'm just talking out loud. I want to give you kind of everything that I'm seeing. This would be getting a bit long in the tooth for this count, but again, I could be wrong as well. All right. And a note on my counts, for some of the new followers, I want to share this with you. This is my MAR account from a post. Let's see here. Okay. From a post I did back in September of 2023 on Mara. And I just want to say that most of these counts are going to be wrong in a few respects. All right. They're going to be wrong in terms of, like, look at I had a 1, 2 call. I called it terminated around 850 here in September. It still went out. It went down, I think, to the high 7s through October. And then I had the 1 coming out here to, like 20. This first impulse out came up to 30, okay? So I was off by an order of, 50% magnitude to the upside. And so, these things are really, really hard. These are more of a guide, right? These numbers that I have up here, I'm just expecting them to move in these type of wave movements, but don't use my or anyone else's like targets or timeframes as gospel. Just because I have a lot of followers doesn't mean I'm going to be right on both sides. I was wrong on the upside here, and I was wrong on when the bottom came in here. It came in a few weeks later, and then we went from 7 to 31 in less than 2 months and made this first move. And now I'm going to share with you, I'm going to share the Mara chart to kind of just illustrate what I'm talking about, right? So here's an updated Mara chart, and this is what I was just sharing with you, okay, before. So the short term, like, I'm like, it's 50-50 for me if I'm just grading myself. Short term, 50-50, it's a coin flip, literally is. And so we continued to bleed down. I was expecting a reversal, a major reversal, and it came, but it came and it went way higher. It slingshotted way higher than I expected. I had my one down in this range, folks, down in this range. And what was the confluence for that range? It was kind of, hitting a ceiling here where I saw some resistance, and it consolidated here, consolidated here. I took some profits on that call position in this area here. And now we've got just a major time-based, price-based correction going on, where I believe we made our one, and this is an A, B working on a C, and I think C is close given what I just shared with Bitcoin, and it's all contingent on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin makes a V from where we are right now, then this potentially is in right now, or could be in. If Bitcoin has a couple more days down to go, then Mara, most certainly my expectation with all the miners would be the same, for them to bleed down a little bit further. From a technical standpoint, I know people don't want to hear this, and I don't want to hear it either, but a 1-2 is valid as long as it doesn't violate where one was initiated, right? So this could come back a ways. I don't see that happening, but that's just from a technical standpoint. But again, let's just, let's say Bitcoin were to get in that 55, 57, 58 zone, then I could see Mara getting even into the 12, 13 in a capitulation. But then then what happens? Then I believe this 3 is next, and this is the most violent. That's what we saw in MicroStrategy in February, March, folks. It's the most violent and quick wave. This is what the price of admission for potentially what comes next. And so this is the reason why I'm initiating. I'm starting to initiate positions, is because I'm trying to catch something, here prior to a slingshot here. My dates are going to be, in this range, to give me plenty of time to exit. I'm looking to exit in, sub 3 of major 3. And so I'm trying to give myself enough time. Why am I not going to like January? Because I might as well just buy the stock. I'm already positioned. And so this is trying to get excess gains. And so, but that's also a safer way to go, and also worth noting. So folks, that's it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. Max bullish. We're at a key inflection point. I am not afraid for, another little capitulation down. If we get it, we get it. If not, this is the price of admission. This is the price we pay. Exponential gains do not come without testing your patience, your resolve. And so with that, have a great evening.